Hi friends, this is Callie. Thanks so much for being here with me today. We are creating a birthday card. It looks complicated, but I assure you it's super easy. And that's because we are using the Birch Press design layer plates. This set is called the Viola plate set. So we have typically 3-layer dies from Birch Press that layer together to create some intricacy and really beautiful dimension. These plates can be used individually or together to create a very intricate design. As you can see, I'm going to start off with the very bottom layer, that's layer C, and standalone, it's got some stippling that's very beautiful, but we're going to be layering it, so we're going to go ahead and ink blend this layer to create that deep pink layer that I created for this card. I'm going to start off by ink blending with some Distress Oxide here. This is some Tattered Rose. I'm going to start off with a lighter color at the center and then work my way out and get darker as we go. So when I finish with my lighter color, I'm going to go in with a medium shade. This is Saltwater Taffy. This is the newest color from Tim Holtz in his Distress line. And again, we're going to ink blend out towards the edges, getting darker as we go. So to get a really smooth blend, it does look splotchy at first, but just keep working at it. I'm going to go back in with the Tattered Rose and then work again with the Saltwater Taffy to blend the two colors together and get a really saturated look. So I'm just turning my panel and working my way in and out to get those colors to blend together. And once I'm happy with that, I'll introduce the darkest color. This is Abandoned Coral. I'm using a piece of scrap paper to put my fingers on so that I don't ruin the beautiful ink blending. So I'll just keep working here with the Abandoned Coral going all the way around. And as I did with the previous two colors, I'm going to go back in with the Saltwater Taffy and blend out that Abandoned Coral to get the two colors to meld as well. So at this point we have a beautiful blend and you can splatter that, but really the die itself is the openings are very small, so you wouldn't be able to see any splattering. So I went ahead and die cut that. Just going to use my Spellbinders tool here to kind of get all of those little tiny pieces out, and it's really helpful for dies like this. So I'm just going to rub that brush all over the back and front just to pop out all of those pieces so that I'm not standing there manually popping it out with my fingers. There is a picker tool at the other end. I don't know if you've seen this tool before. It's been around for a while and they actually have a white and gold one now. So I like to use that to push out all the little pieces from the intricate dies. So for the second layer, you could ink blend, you could use pattern paper. I wanted some sparkles, so I'm using this delicate pastel glitter pad from Memory Box, and I'm using a light pink panel to die cut from. And so that'll coordinate with the ink blended panel that I have, and they stack together beautifully. And then finally for the very top layer, layer A, I'm just going to die cut in white. I didn't think it needed more glitz, glam, or color. It depends on what color scheme you're going for. I'm going for a pink color today. Typically when I've used these Birch Press design layer dies in the past, I love to do rainbow, and that's a really impactful way to use these dies as well. For a birthday card, I wanted to make it more dainty, more specific for a friend, and I chose pink for this particular card, but imagine the options in color choices and colored cardstock is endless. So I'm just gluing these layers simply with some liquid glue. If you want to make the process easier, I didn't think ahead of time, but you could have die cut with a double-sided adhesive on the back, and that would have really been helpful in this step, or even using a spray adhesive. I just never think to do that sometimes. So as I lay down one panel, I'm going to go ahead and put a heavy acrylic block over it just to help hold it all down while it's curing, and then I'll go ahead and add the final layer and do the same thing. While these layers are drying, I'm just going to leave that acrylic block right over it to make sure that it sticks together nicely. We're going to go ahead and work on our sentiment. I have this Happy Birthday Posh script from Memory Box, and it's a beautiful, intricate die, the word Happy Birthday is. And I'm going to just go ahead and die cut that, the base out of vellum, and the top layer out of Gold Sparkle cardstock from Simon Says Stamp. And then I'll go ahead and adhere the layers together. It's very dainty. I didn't want to fuss with different layers, so I went ahead and applied this layer directly over the vellum, and then we'll add tiny strips of foam adhesive underneath to attach to our layered background panel. Again, using double-sided adhesive on the back of this prior to die cutting, or using a spray adhesive probably would have been easier, but this is always my default, and that's what I did. I realized at this point that the I in the birthday word is missing, so I'm going to find my negative and pop out that gold tittle and adhere that over the I. And then our sentiment is prepared. In order to attach this to the layered background there, I want to use foam tape. So we're going to be using tiny strips. I also die cut this in black. I wasn't sure if the gold was fading into the background, but then I felt the black was a little bit too stark of a contrast. So we're going to go ahead and use the gold sentiment that I prepared. I don't think this is completely necessary, but I feel like the tiny strips of foam that I took my time cutting is really going to help adhere the sentiment to all the different layers that are stacked for that background. And then to finish, I went ahead and dotted some glue over all of the flower centers, and I'm going to attach a medium-sized ivory pearl from Pretty Pink Posh over the centers of all of those flowers. And I just think that adds a bit more interest and makes the card prettier and a little bit more daintier for the recipient. So as you can see, we created a really impactful card here using some layered dies, but really the hardest part was ink blending that very back panel, and die cutting the rest of the layers were super easy, a little bit adhesive, and you have a beautiful card. I hope you enjoyed this card. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. I'm going to link 2 more videos in case you're interested in seeing more. Otherwise, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Bye, everyone.